Man jailed for not unlocking iPhone adds fuel to device search warrant debate. This is on Apple Insider. Guy in Florida thrown in jail 44 days for refusing to unlock 2 iPhones in his possession during a traffic stop. So you probably didn't know that was the case, Will. You probably thought you were just going to be in Florida in your shorts with your flip-flops.
Feeding some alligators.
Yeah, and you thought you're going to get pulled over and you're going to be like, excuse me, sir, you don't have a warrant for this, dude. You see my surfboard? And then they're like, okay, go to jail then.
I'm like, oh.
And you're like, I got rights, dude. Can't you see my rights?
They beat me with the surfboard?
Yeah, apparently. And you go to jail for 44 days. So don't pull that in Florida. They're not messing around right now, okay? They don't care about that you saw a documentary that you watched Making a Murderer. They don't care that you watched that. And you're like, I know my rights. Got a lawyer. This one got Jack's attention. He just leaned over. He just leaned over to look in. He got 44 days in jail. Now, I should say, this is the real story. This is what went down. He was in possession. He was in possession, Will, of some plants, some illegal plants, and he also had a firearm in the glove box. He had some oil, and during the traffic stop, he got pinged on the phone, one of the phones, and there was the text message that came through was OMG, all caps, did they find it? During the traffic stop. So if you're a police officer and you see this text come in, you're like, hey man, unlock the phone. What are you hiding? Like, what's in here that I didn't find yet? Like, let's make my life a little easier. Of course, he says, I'm not unlocking it. I'm Willie Doo. I got rights. Check the surfboard. Right? And they said, okay, fine. Let's go down to the precinct. Don't you love that word, precinct? Well, you see? That's every comic book. That's every Marvel, Spider-Man precinct. You go down to the precinct. Anyway, so he ends up serving 44 days in jail. In the second spell, he was there for 44, and the charges were relating to the oil and the firearm, which were then eventually dropped, as well as the contempt order. Now, the contempt order was the consequence for not unlocking the phones, but it brings into question the debate. There's a debate going on whether or not what your rights are. Do you have to unlock, and so forth? Do they have to get a warrant? Should they be allowed at all? And there's been some, like this is kind of a funny case, but you can imagine in a much darker, more grim scenario where you could actually solve something or help someone. Like, say, for example, a kidnapping or a assault of some kind, and the evidence is in the phone. Imagine how frustrated you would be as a police officer that you could change an outcome if you could just get in the phone, but you don't have the right to do so. So it is an argument. It is a thing that's going on. Obviously, you would like to know how and when the unlock is available and required. Of course, there was that device that came out at one point. The thing that could unlock any iPhone is called Gray Key, and it was a tool, but it's expensive. It's a license that every individual police department has to hold themselves in order to unlock the device, and a lot of them just don't have it or don't have the budget for it. It's like I don't remember what the cost was, but it's sort of cost prohibitive. It's thousands of dollars for this license. The box is $15,000. But I think the $30,000 for a different model with internet connectivity. I mean, that was in 2018. Look, and that only gives you 300 unlocks. So like it's cost prohibitive, particularly for a small police department, especially when they could just go get a warrant from a judge for nothing and force you to unlock it or do prison time. So there's a couple of precedents in place that exist to kind of support the idea that the unlock should take place. But then on the flip side, there's other ones where the argument takes place. So I don't know where you guys stand. I'm like, it probably does depend on the offense. What are you being accused of? What is the evidence? And then you go from there, whether or not it should be unlocked. But Will, when the biometric stuff started with the face unlock, for example, it got a little bit squirrely because it's like, if he had face unlock enabled, like let's say he had a newer iPhone, they could just point it at him and swipe
true.
up in the back of the cruiser. He was trying to hide his face or whatever. So it's a bit of it's a weird zone. Same with fingerprint. If he was biometric, couldn't they just hold his thumb on it? I don't know. Like, these are weird. It's a gray zone, which is probably why that guy's thing is called Gray Key.
You know what? I feel like we got a package called Gray Key just today.
What?
I honestly feel like
Is this a live adjustment? Can we send Jack to take a look?
It's literally over
Sorry
there.
to bother you, Jack. Sorry to inconvenience you. I know you're real comfy over there. But
man.
is this true, Will?
I feel like I saw
Did you
a box
just want to
called Gray
watch
Key.
Jack march around right now? There's no way they sent us. These things are 30 grand, 15 grand.
I might be
I think
completely
you're way
wrong.
off on
it
this,
could be
Will,
like a
but-
phone case or something.
I don't know. It could be cool. If you're out there, Mr. Gray Key, whoever, if you want some promotion or you want your product to be publicized, send it to us. I want to test it out. It would be cool. We could just unlock somebody's phone with the hardcore police grade unlock tool. That could be kind of cool. It's all right, Will. We're gonna look off air. We're gonna figure it out later.
So what happened to this guy?
He did 44 days in prison.
Did he have to unlock his phone, or did he just like
No,
walk
they
out?
they dropped it after serving 44 days. They dropped it because the 44 days served acts as like a certain punishment while you're awaiting your eventual sentencing, I suppose. And so he did end up with some degree of punishment for the other things, the other offenses, right? The possession and the firearm. But I don't think he ever ended up unlocking it based on this article right here. But 44 days in prison, Will, is like, that's no fun anyway.
No.
Like
not at all.
that is a punishment in and of itself. I don't know if you've ever done time, but
No. That's a very personal question to ask. But I'm confident I didn't do this.
I don't. I know he was there for a minute. Have I done time? I don't. There was that one morning where I woke up on a concrete slab. Not
Head
sure how I got
busted
there.
open.
Yeah. Well, Will used to party in a different life. Earlier time. This was before Otis, obviously.
Mm-hmm.
He's got responsibilities now, and so. And let me ask you something, Will. This is you. Are you unlocking the phone?
Had I known to be doing 44 days, or
I'm saying you get pulled over. You're in possession of plants. Here in Canada, you can have whatever plants you want, for the most part, in Toronto at the moment. But let's say you couldn't have those plants. They were in the car. You got the firearm. I mean, this is obviously not you.
Mm-hmm.
But like, are you unlocking the phone? Are you just like, oh God, all right, unlock it? Or are you like, I'm going down for this one. This is my right.
I try to be a man of principle. But if it's not a big deal, like I know what the message is, like what the conversation is, yeah, why not?
Okay.
Unless it's something like really bad.
So
Then I
do
would
you
probably
have
have it.
any conversations currently in your instant messages, DMs, texts that like everybody could read?
I don't think so.
Yeah,
no.
exactly. You don't.
But if it's the cops, it's like,
I don't know, man. You
it's-
got some weird stuff in there, dude.
I do.
See?
But I mean, the cops, if they like look at it, I wouldn't be offended or, you know.
All right. Well, I guess we're doing that on the next episode. Willie Do's messages.
Read
we're the,
my chats.
We're the cops. Getting the gray tool, Gray Key, whatever it's called.